I have two amazing ladies I'm going to introduce here in just a second. We have two incredible leaders. I've known them for a while. I want to say it's been a few years now that I've known these ladies, but I have Miss Sacha Pankratz, and I also have Miss Jeanine George. These ladies know what they're talking about. They've been leaders in the industry for 18, Sacha's 18 years. Janine's been in the industry for 30 plus years. So we have very experienced ladies here that have so graciously decided to come and join us and share their expertise and just share with us their knowledge on how they're kicking butt and taking names with landing pages and hosting parties with it. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pop these ladies in here. Welcome, Miss Stacia, and welcome, Miss Janine.
Hello.
Welcome, ladies. Like I said, I'm so excited to have this conversation, and I appreciate you ladies taking time from your busy schedules to come on here with me and just sharing your expertise when it comes to landing pages. This has been a very hot topic over the last like 4 or 5 days. I think I made a post. I don't know if Sacha or maybe both of y'all saw that post that I made. Has anybody ever posted or hosted a party with landing pages and it just exploded? And so a lot of people are excited to hear from y'all. So if you want to, why don't you, let's start with Sacha. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself. And yeah, just share with us.
Sure. I've been in the industry, direct sales space for 18 plus years. So I started at the in-home parties back in the day when I was single dating my husband, and then, had 3 kids, and here we are. So definitely I've been through the shifts and changes of the direct sales space, through the home parties, through, the big C word, and then now getting back out into the world. Right. And changing with all the social media. So, I'm a senior division leader in Park Lane Jewelry, and, Jeanine and I have never met in person, but we're besties.
Really?
That's true.
I would have never guessed that.
That's the truth.
Yeah. We've never met in person, but we're besties. When we have, I don't want to call it a problem. When
An opportunity.
Pivot in our business. That's the way we're going to say it. When we have a pivot in our business, her and I really we talk things out a lot and try to work together and find the best way to navigate.
Very true.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Awesome. Jeanine, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself also?
Well, welcome everyone. I am so honored to be here tonight. I know Sacha and I were talking about it. This is just so cool. My name is Jeanine Villano George. I'm a senior division director with Park Lane Jewelry. Yes, I've been in the industry 30 years. And when I hear that, the hair on the back of my neck stands up, because I want you to all know I started when I was 12. And doing the math. That freaks me out that I'm like the OG. I cannot stand that. But yeah, so we've been through it all, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. And Stacia and I are sisters from another mister. How does that work? Yeah, sisters from another mister. And we just kind of melded together and we work on projects together. And I have to tell you, Janet uses the word pivot all the time. And I feel like I have pivoted for 30 years. I just have. You can't stay stagnant in this industry. You won't get anywhere. It's unfortunate because you kind of get into a groove and you get all excited and then you have to change. But you have to change because you have to work with what you have, and you have to make it work. So we're going to hopefully tonight show you something that you can do that's been real successful for both of us. And it's easy. It's not hard to do. So
I just love what you just said there. I mean, that you made such a good point. First of all, you said the word pivot, so I immediately thought of the Friends scene upstairs, right? That's just me.
The couch.
Think that? Yeah, of course, like pivot. But I love that you said that, because I think a lot of people, we get scared. We kind of go into this whole fear thing when something changes. And I got to tell you, when the whole Facebook group thing changed, like there were so many people that were panicking, thinking like their business was over and we're not going to have Facebook groups. My friend Sacha said this earlier, right? Facebook groups aren't dead. They're not disappearing. They're not going away. It's just going to be a little bit harder to manage them because we don't have our fancy tools anymore. We got a little spoiled. Okay. So just me, but I don't know. We got a little spoiled with SendShare and all these tools that made it easier. But end of the day, you can still use Facebook groups, but it's always good to diversify and to have different strategies for your business, because with growth, right? When you're able to do these things, you can grow and you can start learning from these other experiences. So yeah, that's awesome, ladies. Excited. So Jeanine, why don't you tell us a little bit about what a landing page is and just like the what and the how behind it? Why don't you share that with us?
Well, I'm going to start with my why of why I started it, because I do all types of parties. So I came from an in-home party era where it was just in-home parties, and I went from house to house to house to house, and we did events and things of that nature. And then, it changed. We started using technology more. I remember when we weren't supposed to put anything on our private profiles that had to do with sales because Facebook wanted us to do them in groups. And now we're switching from groups to, it's just insane. But I found that a lot of my hosts that were doing Facebook parties with me were struggling. They were struggling because even though we made them 3-day events, and in my mind, that wasn't a lot, it was too much. We weren't getting the action in those groups. We weren't getting the engagement. We were doing everything we could. I was standing on my head and whistling Dixie, like literally giving away my product just to get them to check in to win. Like, did you breathe today? Great. You win a free prize for that. And I couldn't, it just got frustrating. Yeah. So I just feel like we're in an age where people want things very quickly. And they're very interested in pointing and clicking and moving on with their day. A lot of my hosts were having trouble because they were having trouble just even inviting people because they weren't getting the RSVPs, and they had to keep following up, and they felt like they were bothering people and blah, blah, blah. So we started our organization has this really great marketing gal that does our marketing materials, and she came up with a Facebook earring party that was on Messenger. A messenger party. And that's where this all started. So we did these parties in Messenger that were earring parties. I turned them into 24-hour earring parties. Basically, how they worked was we had this number of posts that we would put up with all of the earring graphics. We did that at a certain time, just like a party would be. So like if it was 7 o'clock, Janet, and there was 40 graphics, they all dropped at 7 o'clock. And that was it in that Messenger party. And then the people had 24 hours to place their orders. And then you answered questions in the Messenger party. So it started with that. And then I started doing, I just transitioned my Facebook group people, their party groups, into Messenger because it was just easier, to be quite honest. You got more engagement. These gals were in there because the host asked them to be there and they got a yes first. And we did it that way. And then Sacha and I talked and we were like, we need something to take all those posts that we normally do in the groups and we need them in one place. And that's where the landing page came into fruition.